So our next speaker today is Anastasia. She is a senior recruiting manager at Remote. Big fan of their work here, so I will let her continue. So Anastasia, the floor is yours, and take it away.
Thank you. And thanks a lot, Martin, for a great presentation. I would say that a lot of topics that you raised resonated personally with me and also my slide deck. So it's great to see that we are aligned. So yeah, in terms of myself, as you already know, my name is Anastasia. I'm based in Moscow, Russia. And today I'm here to share with you some lessons that we learned while building an all remote, globally dispersed team. And I hope that some of them would be helpful. So I always prefer to introduce myself just by sharing one of the slides that pretty much explains my entire experience. So as you can see, I spent my entire career within the tech world, slowly moving from a pretty corporate environment towards the magical world of startups. And for quite a while, I've been leading recruiting teams that were focused on scaling the companies and really making sure that we can address all the aggressive needs of the fast-paced and growing businesses. Together with that, throughout my career, I would say that the most fascinating thing that I've been observing was how the recruiting world has been changing throughout the years. And I still vividly remember the days when I was working at my first company at Dell, where all the interviews were on site. Sometimes you would judge a candidate by the power of their handshake. And then while I was moving through my career, the importance of the physical presence was kind of like fading and going away. So 4 years ago, I started at Gitlab, and that was my first all remote experience. So if you are to check out Gitlab, you'll see that it's a pretty successful startup that has recently gone public. And 4 years ago, all remote was definitely not a thing for everyone. We were the largest all remote company, and we really had to figure out our way through all the challenges that all remote environment offers. Together with that, when I think about our recruiting team back in those days, we had this luxury of not only hiring through the entire globe, but also of offering all remote opportunities, because this was something that was very unique back in those days. Today, we don't have this luxury. I would say that being an all remote company means that you're just one of many. Today, I'll talk a little bit more about that later and how you can really stand out of the crowd. So speaking about my current company, it's called Remote, which is pretty much self-explanatory. So the mission of Remote is to enable global employment without any borders and offer companies a solution to employ their team members and do this legally in every country around the globe. So you can see our current presence on the map on the slide. You can check out our website. But today, I would like to really focus my story on how we were building the Remote as a company and as a team. Just because if you think about us, again, like as one company, we were founded only 2 years ago. 6 months ago, we received a unicorn status, which was a huge success for such an early stage startup. And to describe a little bit more what my team was busy with, just over the course of 2021, we hired more than 800 team members, which is a terrific success. And I would say that a rare recruiting team has a chance to demonstrate such results in such a short, limited period of time. So again, January 2021, Remote was a team of 20 people. Today, we're already a team of 850 plus team members based in more than 50 different countries. And only one recruiting team is doing all of that. And speaking about the size of my team, for now, we are only 20 people big. And again, like we managed to do this only in 1 year. So while we were building our remote team, what were the key learnings and like the key acknowledgements that we faced? First of all, I would say that one of the biggest things that I had to acknowledge myself, and I believe that Martin also mentioned this in his presentation, is that the world where you are to pick from like many candidates and where you believe that you're as an employer in this lucky position to choose from hundreds of candidates, that's an illusion. I would say that when it comes to highly skilled professional talent, when it comes to stellar candidates who can really drive your business, who can change what you're doing and bring your company to the next level, it's still a highly dominated candidate market. And again, like it's surprising to see that. It's surprising to hear that, especially when you think about us at Remote hiring basically from any location in the world where we can afford sourcing through so many different talent pools. We still have quite a lot of struggles with finding the best people and getting them on board. Because again, I believe that here in the 21st century, we should never underestimate the importance of talent and what a single person can really bring to your business. So again, like never see yourself in a position when you are choosing candidates, because something that you should be always having on your mind is that candidates are actually choosing you, and you really need to stretch yourself pretty hard to get the best ones. Together with that, as I already mentioned, another finding for ourselves was that by offering all remote job, we no longer stand out of the crowd just because the pandemic has changed the world dramatically. And now we are one of many. So this meant for us that we had to redesign the way we attract talent. We had to offer something new to our candidates to make sure that we get their attention. And I would say that the first solution here for me as the leader of the recruiting team was making sure that we invest very heavily in educating our hiring teams and making sure that they know how to sell our product, how to sell our teams. And again, they never come to an interview with the mindset of having an endless number of candidates behind the scenes waiting for them to hire all of them. So when it comes to hiring, again, no matter how big your talent pool is, make sure that you always train your recruiting teams as well as your hiring managers how to close your candidates, how to really get them excited about their opportunities, and also how to get them a feel of your culture and the values that you're trying to nurture at your own place. So when it comes to all remote and global hiring, as I mentioned, we can hire people throughout the globe. So whenever we open a role, we usually never know where we will end up hiring a person. And when it comes to the structure of my team, I never align my recruiters based on the regions, but instead they aligned to specific business verticals to make sure that they can come to their hiring leaders as real subject matter experts and talent advisors. But at the same time, what was important for me while I was building my recruiting team is to ensure that we have presence in very different regions. And by creating this beautiful mix of different backgrounds, expertise, and experience, we managed to build a very strong recruiting team that which always know where to find the right talent. We spend a lot of time on talent mapping, on really understanding where our key audience lives and for which role we should go after which companies, locations, and etc. And none of these would have been possible without, again, like getting together a really diverse recruiting team that possesses all the needed knowledge internally, and also encouraging individuals to share this knowledge within the team. Together with that, another lesson that we learned is that your recruiting team should really possess some high level of flexibility and versatility, because in the new realities, the change is the new constant. And I would say that even in this fast-paced, scaling, growing business, we should be always ready to change the gears, to change the direction we are going to, probably to start hiring for some of the roles that we've never hired before. And you can only be successful in this if you bring on board the recruiting team that, again, like has this mindset of the change, and those who are prepared to easily switch their priorities and change their focuses. Another thing that is closely related to hiring and something that we spend a lot of time on is onboarding. I would say that great onboarding experience starts at the moment when you are already interviewing your candidates, just because they are learning about the culture, they are seeing their future peers and colleagues in action. But at the same time, one of the biggest challenges in the all remote space is to make sure that all the people who come on board, they share the same set of knowledge. They are on the same page when it comes to the mission of the company. They understand the direction the business is going to, and they can really contribute to the bigger goals. So to make sure that, again, we build the foundation for all the team members, no matter in which department they are, we made a pretty big decision for the business that the first week, when a new team member starts, is purely devoted to onboarding. And when I say onboarding, I mean just general onboarding. There is nothing that is related to their day-to-day work. There is nothing that is related to their job title and, again, to their responsibilities and the job that they will be focusing on moving forward. But instead, for the first 5 days at remote, we have a well-documented onboarding process that is focused on, first of all, getting to know the product, getting to know the company, building some social connections within their team and outside of their own team, making sure that they have some time to go through some important trainings like security, D&I trainings, and etc., without rushing them, without making them swamped with onboarding and their job. So again, I believe that this is something that a lot of companies are not doing yet, and something that we should be really very considerative about is that you should be setting up your teams for success from their first day. And the only way to do that is to make sure that you give people some time and some room to learn about you as a company before actually jumping into day-to-day work. And this could be only done by allocating this time, by having crucial conversations with their managers to allow them this time to do that, because this first week of onboarding is paying back a lot as they start working on their day-to-day tasks, just because, again, especially in all remote environment, you don't have time to go back and check how to use tools, what is the structure of the company, if you haven't done this from the early beginning. So again, like building tailored onboarding experience that would reflect your company's culture and value is definitely crucial for all the amazing hires that you're making. Another challenge that we've been seeing as we were growing a lot is how to make sure that you transfer all the legacy knowledge to your new hires, and how you can actually preserve your unique culture and how you can make sure that all your new hires are becoming the real ambassadors of your values. So I would say that there are two answers to this question that I have for myself. The first one is really making sure that you build the recruiting processes that are scalable enough and that are reflective of your values. So you don't expect to teach someone the values that you have in the company, but instead you're hiring for these values and you bring on board people who already share some of the key principles that build the culture of your company. The second answer to this is definitely onboarding, and onboarding that is done in a very personal and human way. So throughout the first week onboarding, we have our new team members meeting with our executive leaders, having some social time with their vertical managers to make sure that, again, like they establish these crucial bonds and connections, and they can get some information and the vision of the company from the first hands. So that's quickly about what I wanted to share with you today. So thanks a lot for listening, and I'm definitely staying here for all of your questions.
Awesome. Anastasia, thank you so much for that lovely presentation. I got to say, I love everything you guys are doing at Remote, the color, the backgrounds of your presentation too. Everything looks awesome.